hear me now?
Yeah, there you go.
I guess it's the way that the roster that's going to be built this year. Is this going to be a pattern, or maybe kind of the way the roster is going to be built moving forward? That at the end of the year, you're just going to have a huge portion of your roster be portals for the incoming year.
Man, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I mean, obviously there's more and more. There's 3,600 kids in the portal now, and that number's astronomical compared to what it's been in the past, So, um, basically what you're doing, guys, is you're signing two classes instead of one. You sign your high school class, which ours is about 24, and right now I think we're going to sign about 20, 23 uh, in the portal. So you're basically signing two classes, and you basically have three different time periods in there to get that done. Um, we have 15 coming in the next 5 days, 29 total at this point, and it may be different. It may be 32 by now. Um, but everything's negative now because guys leaving, leaving, leaving. I think in a few days, I think everybody will feel a little bit better about it because of the guys that we're bringing in.
And then we've seen a few schools across the country, maybe hire a general manager. Is that kind of where college athletics is maybe trending?
I think so. Obviously, Mr. Yurchek and myself have talked about a general manager. We have a criteria for one. We just, we're not going to do it until probably if we do, it would be April or something like that. But um, myself and the people in the building, I don't feel like we are behind there at all. I don't feel like we're behind in the portal. I don't feel like we're behind who knowingly is available. But that is a conversation that Mr. Yurchek and I have had.
Appreciate it, Sam.
Thank you.
Trey, go back around. Yeah, Coach. I was wondering about the schedule that came out. Your thoughts on it? Four games, I believe, in four different venues. Is that right? Is it four? And then first two SEC road games.
Yeah, Trey, I've had that schedule probably for 3 months now,
Okay.
and it's on my pictures in my phone. Um, another very, obviously difficult uh, schedule. Um, Hence, there's reasonings behind everything, and the schedule had something to do with exactly how we're trying to attack this portal. To be perfectly honest with you, it's a difficult schedule. I think it's a good schedule for the state, with Notre Dame being here and obviously Texas A&M and others, Missouri, but tough road games, and but we're excited about the schedule, and like I say, I've known about it for several months now.
The the start of it seems kind of rough with all the different venues and stuff, and but I don't the bye weeks seem well placed, and it seemed like if
Yes.
you get through that first stretch, then it kind of, I mean, not that it's easy, but it kind of shapes up a little.
Oh, I agree with you. Actually, Trey, that's exactly what I was thinking. You got to get to that first bye week, and with some good wins, and obviously really good games. Um, but no, I'm with you. We're cutting out Dallas, so that helps a little bit as far as the travel. But you're right. There's still a lot of early travel, which has happened to us uh, every year so far.
What would you say to the fans right now that, I mean, going in, it's this first wave, it's all people leaving, nobody coming.
Yeah.
And I think I was kind of putting my mind at like this is what's happening. It did seem like more, as you said, than what was expected. What's your message to the fans that are in, freak out
Yeah.
mode right
Well, I think you're 100%. Hell, they're not the only ones that we're in, because I'm the one and our staff having to make all the decisions on, and we're not. we're not stupid. We know if a guy like a Luke has walks out the door, it's going to it's going to mean something. Hell, it meant something to us. It meant something to him too. It's very difficult for him and his family. But the decisions have to be about the team. It can't be about just the individual. It has to be about the team. So all I would say is, all I would ask is that they just be patient over these next week and a half to see whom, uh, if I can not bite off more I can chew. If see if we get out of the portal what I think we can get, and if we do, I think they'll be very excited about that.
Thanks.
Sam, how much are you dealing with the players coming to you, or agents going and being in players' ears, like when it comes to like during the season, guys that maybe you thought were healthy enough to play that maybe didn't. Like how much do you deal with that, on a daily basis during the season?
Well, the game certainly changed. I mean, it has. And it used to be you'd get that situation you're talking about, Hutch. You'd get that for guys saving themselves for the NFL draft. Now it's we dealt a lot this year about guys wanting to redshirt. And again, I've never had one to this point that we were able to redshirt and didn't get no transfer portal. So, and I knew that this past year. I just thought it was somewhat different, but I understand that too. But there's a lot to deal with around that. A lot of guys, uh, agents, and I don't think it's other coaches as much. I think it's more agents and things getting in these kids' ears and going, okay, if you don't play, I can get you X amount of dollars. And if you do, and you only have 1 year left, I can get you a lower amount of money. So I think there's a lot of that going on.
And you've said a few times now that, like, if guys leave the right way, you'd welcome them back versus leaving the wrong way. Could you maybe give us a generic example of what does leaving the right way look like versus leaving the wrong way?
Well, they come in, we have a conversation, and it's like any employee. If you go in, Hutch, and ask for a significant raise or whatever, and they say, "Hey, buddy, you've done a hell of a job for us here, and we love you, but we can't pay that." Well, that's nothing personal. It's just they don't have the finances to do it, or they prefer to trade you in for somebody else. Um, if you just put a um, something out on Twitter and said, I'm in the portal, and you didn't go talk to them, that probably wouldn't be the right way to leave. And so that would be an example of that.
It sounds like you've had a lot of conversations about finances and money. I can't imagine that's something you enjoy doing. I know Daniel asked you about the GM, but like, do you wish you maybe already had a guy like that in place to help with that right now, like, versus
We,
waiting until April?
no, well, I think we're in pretty good shape. I really do. I think the conversations there, we know exactly how much money that we've spent. We know exactly how much money we have left in the portal. Um, so are we willing to pay a guy a little bit more if we really think he's fantastic? Yes. If then we got to go find somebody a little bit less, what that may be. But no, I think we're in pretty good shape. Will it help us in the future? Once I don't know that we felt like there's going to be 3,600 kids in the portal. That's a lot of film watched and a lot of work because we're getting them from every level. One of the best receivers in the SEC came from Division II here, obviously, in Andrew Armstrong. So I think as it continues to go, I think it's going to get bigger and bigger and bigger, and I think you'll probably need someone like that in place.
Tom. Hey, you're 9 days out from your hip replacement. I'm wondering if you're getting along better and if you'll be able to mosey on out to that field tomorrow or just what?
Well, thank you, by the way. I think, I want everybody to know now I had my hip surgery on Tuesday and I was in the office on Wednesday now. So this portal, what's going on with the portal right now had nothing to do with my hip surgery. I've been in every single day since I had it. And because I was told if I was, tough enough that I could do it. And fortunately, I was. But I am walking at least 20 yards, maybe a little bit further on my own. Uh, I do use the walker some, which I can scoot around pretty fast walking on that. But I believe I can stand up for a lengthy period of time, and I believe that I'll be walking on my own no later than a week from today. I mean, I'm talking about. Uh, I think I'm going to be in pretty good shape. If I knew now what I knew back then, I'd have skipped SEC media days and got it done. To be honest with you.
Yeah. Wide receiver position. What are your thoughts there in terms of depth? Because, Armstrong has opted for the bowl and Satania's gone, that kind of stuff.
Well, you have C.J. Brown will be one of them. Monte Harrison will be one of them. Obviously, Isaac Tesla is playing in the game. Those would be. Kyle, can you roll that board up for me real quick? It just hit the west. Those would be the guys that just jump out of my mind real quick. I hate to not look at you as I'm talking to you, but I'm looking up here at the board on the depth. Desmond James, Cross Johnson, and then Bryce Stevens. I think we're going to look at Shamar Easter a little bit at wideout as well.
Okay. And I know there was some talk about Coach Petrino and Coach Williams with some job openings early on here, but that those didn't appear to happen. Will the staff be in total tomorrow and maybe through bowl practice?
Well, that's a loaded question, as you know, as you well know. But I've had not one guy. Obviously, we've had a couple of guys that had opportunities to speak with people and all that, as far as head coaching jobs and all that. But those situations have passed, whether it was they passed on us or we passed on them. But as of right now, I have not one of my full-time guys uh, that I'm have any inkling that they want to leave the University of Arkansas or have opportunities that I'm aware of to leave. Now I've got some analysts and stuff like that, or who hopefully can get some full-time jobs, but not anybody that's on our ten assistants.
With both your starting DNs out, I'm wondering what that position is going to look like, and then the fact that you ran so many three-man fronts kind of late in the year, does that maybe help you in that?
Well, I think it would, obviously, Tom. I mean, I think it obviously would, but you got Quincy Rose and Anton Junekaj, who's kind of a guy that, we haven't had the last 3 or 4 games of the season and even midway through. So there, and then Kavion Henderson, I'm really excited for him and Charlie Collins because I think those two guys can really play. Just didn't have the opportunity with Landon and, Nico and those guys. So, uh, will we use some three-man? Absolutely, as well. I feel pretty good about our two deep up there on the D line. I probably feel a little bit better defensively on the team that we can take in there as far as the portal and all that, who's playing in the game. A little bit more than offensively because there's just more unknowns on offense. But I can still remember the Liberty Bowl from 2 years ago, and I think we went down there with 9 starters out, and Rocket Sanders got hurt early, and so did Tykees Crawford, and I think we ended up with 13 guys, and we still won the game. So the ones that are here are going to play their butt off, and but it's a good question, and that's what we would do.
Hope your hip continues to get better, Sam.
Thank you, buddy. Appreciate you.